The Chinese-American AI victory, the memory vacuum, and the Great British Delusion. China and America have already won the AI race. Much of the media coverage is obsessed with the question of who will finish slightly ahead, but that feels like a false dichotomy. The rest of us can watch on and admire as also rans. If you do want to zoom in on the false dichotomy, enterprise customers are likely to become increasingly cost-conscious, which currently plays to China's strengths. Whether that advantage comes from a more competitive market, predatory pricing, cheaper energy, or something else. The current dominance of OpenAI and Anthropic feels partly held together by frontier risk, the fear that model capabilities are advancing so quickly that choosing a cheaper option today could leave you badly behind tomorrow, and generous subsidies. But ceteris paribus, if model progress begins to slow and frontier risk fades, cost is likely to become the decisive factor. In that world, the appeal of Chinese models could grow significantly. The likes of Cursor and other model-agnostic, verticalized solutions could see a huge reinvigoration in this world. For all the excitement around memory becoming the killer feature of consumer AI, reality remains surprisingly underwhelming. Despite sitting on a treasure trove of personal data, Gemini has yet to deliver a truly magical experience, and neither has OpenAI, arguably the company most associated with consumer AI. Town, a startup that generated some buzz this week, is the latest contender attempting to bridge the gap. Perhaps the challenge is less about model intelligence and more about the unglamorous realities of filtering, cleaning, managing context, and connecting fragmented data sources intelligently. But if persistent memory does eventually become a mass market feature, Google still looks like the company best positioned to play the long game. We all say we want politicians to be pro-growth. The awkward question is whether we actually want the trade-offs that come with growth. UK output per hour worked has been steadily declining, but there's another interpretation. Perhaps reported hours are flat while actual hours are falling. If so, this may be less a story of collapsing productivity and more a story of changing priorities. Choosing to become a lifestyle nation is a perfectly valid choice, albeit inevitably more zero-sum. Britain's current predicament often feels like an attempt to achieve the outputs of growth while reducing the inputs required to generate it. Economic growth, inconveniently, remains an output rather than a policy aspiration, and it will be fascinating to see whether fatalism and degrowth emerge as legitimate political platforms instead of the current cakeism. This week's funding saw strong rounds across the UK tech ecosystem. In AI, Poindexter Labs raised $2 million for expert-generated training data for advanced AI models. Orchestra raised $7.5 million for secure enterprise AI agent connectivity, and Airspeed raised $15 million for its agent-native revenue platform. In health, Semble raised $30 million for outpatient healthcare management, and Flock Health raised $9.5 million for its AI-operated physiotherapy clinic. Geordie raised $22 million for enterprise AI agent security, and Crimson raised $1.9 million for case intelligence in litigation and arbitration. Before we go, 3 events worth your time this week. On the 16th of June in London, hear from founders who recently raised multi-million-pound rounds as they share what actually helped them get funded, from investor conversations and fundraising strategy to momentum, positioning, and the mistakes they'd avoid next time. On the 23rd of June online, join Cheryl Eggleston for a practical, data-driven update on the UK's grant funding landscape for 2026, how the money is moving, where grants fit best in your capital strategy, and how to write winning applications in a fraction of the time. And on the 1st of July in London, join All Together and Nova Book on the 6th floor terrace at number 6 Elise Street for an evening of summer drinks and straight-talking conversation about what it takes to build and back businesses right now. Links in the newsletter. We'll see you next week.